Well, good morning, everybody. Today is April 14th. First solo night is complete out here at church camp. And last night went about how I expected it to go. First night by myself. The direction the camera's facing, there's a lot of activity that comes from over there. And I did have activity over there, and for if I was to bring somebody out for their very first trip, and I told them, what I tell everybody is that I can't promise you anything's going to happen, but what I can promise you is I've never been out and not have something happen. And last night would have been one of those particular nights where stuff happened, but it was not to the level of what it was last trip up here with the Arizona 4. That being said, if it would have been somebody's first trip out, it would have been a night of a lifetime. Yeah, and I have to keep reminding myself that even the nights where there's not what I consider a lot of activity, or what the Arizona 4 would consider a lot of activity, was still a spectacular night. Because when you see, all right, one of the things I saw last night is directly at the 12 o'clock position, straight in front, is a little oak tree right across that little road. Right there. Pine tree that's back behind it to its right. And then there's an oak tree to the right of that farther back. What I saw last night, and it was dark, but before it got fully dark, is he came out of the wood line where that farthest oak tree is, just to the left of that oak tree, but he walked straight up to that oak tree, and he sat behind that oak tree, and he kept leaning out, and one of the times that he or she, I'm going to say he because I get the feeling it was a he, leaned out and gave me one of the best eye glow shots I've had in a long time. Both eyeballs lit up in I like to say it's just like chem lights, that kind of glowing green. And forgive me, my words aren't with me yet this morning. I only had one sip of the coffee. We'll go for two. Maybe my words will come back. Bioluminous. There we go. See how good coffee is? The bioluminous green. And from my vantage point, they look to be almost the size of softballs. And I'm guessing, I can't really see the branches too well, but there's a oak tree just this side of where that back oak tree is. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to say that it was about 9 feet off the ground, but I haven't been back over there yet this morning. But it was pretty cool. And shortly after he did that, I got zapped pretty good. And let me see if I can remember the name I got. It was Ragavi, because it was very close to agave, like the cactus, but it was Ragavi. And so that was the name I got, Ragavi. And I could hear, shortly after that, I could hear footsteps back behind me, kind of coming back from, see those two big pine trees farther back in the background. Came from back about over there. And that was about the extent of the activity. I mean, I got clicked at a couple of times. At one point, I thought I heard women talking. Back off that way. But all in all, it didn't last very long. Um, I sat out here till about 8:30, 9 o'clock last night, and the activity just kind of fell off the map. And so I went in, and because I had to get stuff ready for bed, I had to get my CPAP machine out, and because I just came back up here, so I still had to unpack. Um, so it was probably 10 o'clock before I went to sleep. I just laid in the tent and listening, and a lot of the times I will have, after I go to bed, they'll come into the camp, and I'll hear the footsteps and what have you. I don't know if they came into camp at all. I don't have my audio recorder out anymore, so I don't know what happens in the camp after I go to sleep. But so that that was the gist of my first night out solo trip. So we'll see what happens tonight. I'm gonna probably start tearing down the kitchen this afternoon and get that loaded up in the truck, because I don't know if I'm going to stay out here Tuesday night also. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. What a beautiful morning. Grateful to be out here. I'm going to sit and enjoy the fire and my coffee and do some thinking. As always, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my blah, 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 blah. Be good to yourselves. Be good to those around you. Please, please pay attention to your surroundings and stay safe. Peace out.